Welcome to this explainer. We are skipping the long intro today because honestly, we've got a lot of ground to cover. We're diving straight into a timeline that is, well, it's almost impossible for the human mind to fully wrap around. We are talking about the violent, fiery birth of our universe and exactly how this rock we call Earth formed out of just pure, unadulterated chaos. So buckle up and let's get into it. 2 billion. Yep, 2 billion years. That is the staggering estimate for how long it's been since our planet was violently ripped away from the sun. We're looking at 2 billion years of cosmic explosions and massive transformations that literally paved the way for everything we know today. Which naturally leads us to a pretty mind-bending question, right? How exactly did a swirling cloud of flaming gas, just floating out there in a completely hostile void, actually turn into the solid ground we walk on right now? Let's start our cosmic zoom in and find out. Section 1. The Cosmic Birth, a 20 billion year tale. So, astronomers estimate the universe's age to be up to an unfathomable 20 billion years old. And it's incredibly fascinating how modern scientific insights sometimes intersect with really ancient texts. Take this ancient verse, for example. It gives us this beautiful, poetic framework that actually brilliantly illustrates the modern scientific concept of the universe being torn apart. It talks about the heavens and earth being joined together as one single unit before being cloven asunder. And here's what's really wild to think about. Before the planets even existed, everything in the universe was just these massive, glowing clouds of inflamed gas swimming around in an endless void. We call these nebulae. They were made up mostly of hydrogen and helium, and they just gradually shrank and condensed over unimaginable amounts of time to eventually form stars. Section 2, Torn from the Sun. A violent cosmic event. So how did Earth actually form? Well, I'll tell you one thing, it definitely wasn't a quiet, peaceful process. According to a really prominent theory, it started when another massive star approached our sun. This crazy cosmic encounter created an immense gravitational pull, which literally dragged a gigantic tongue of fiery gas right out of the sun. This fiery mass eventually detached, started orbiting, and then, slowly but surely, cooled down to form our planet. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this cosmic event, just consider the mass of the Earth that eventually formed from that cooled gas. We are talking over 5,000 billion tons. I mean, wow. A massive, unimaginable rock born from a single, violent gravitational pull. Section 3. The molten core. Inside the Earth. Now, if we compare the surface of the Earth to what's going on deep inside, the contrast is absolutely stark. The crust we walk on today, it's actually just a super thin, cooled-off layer. But if you were to drill down about 4,000 miles, you would hit a highly pressurized, densely packed metallic core that is mostly made of superheated, completely molten iron. And this simple metric perfectly illustrates the immense heat we're talking about here. For every 100 feet you dig straight down, the temperature actually rises by 1 degree Celsius. It is a constant reminder of the inescapable heat that's been trapped inside since the Earth's very early days. It is quite literally still boiling right beneath our feet. Section 4. Cooling down the crust, from magma to rock. Of course, it took eons for the Earth to actually transform into a solidifying rock. At first, it was just this explosive magma phase with a totally boiling surface. Any water was completely vaporized into these gnarly sulfurous gas storms. But as the heat slowly receded, the rocks finally began to solidify. And those thick vapors, they condensed, wrapping the entire planet in this dense, incredibly heavy cloud cover that completely blocked out the sky. Section 5. The Endless Rains. The Great Deluge. Just try to picture this scene for a second. Those scalding vapors finally cooled enough to form thick, dark clouds. Then violent, chaotic winds absolutely battered the planet without any mercy, and then the rain started. Torrential rains began to fall, and they kept falling for potentially millions of years. Just an endless deluge. All that hot water relentlessly bombarded the newly solidified, sizzling crust, carving out deep trenches and forming the very first boiling oceans. Section 6. The Lifeless Oceans, the Azoic Era. And that brings us to the final destination of our zoom in today, the Azoic Era. Azoic literally translates to lifeless. Picture a dark world totally covered by deep, literally boiling oceans under a permanently overcast sky. You've got bare, rocky mountains jutting out, just getting battered by constant rain. There's zero soil. There are no plants, no algae, and absolutely no living creatures whatsoever. It was just a chemical void of heat, water, and rock that lasted for up to 800 million years of complete barrenness. Which leaves us with one massive, incredible mystery. In a violent, hostile world of boiling water and massive storms, a world completely devoid of biology, with no soil and no plants, what was the magical spark that woke this barren planet up? What kicked off the incredible journey of biological life? Well, that is the million-dollar question that keeps us endlessly exploring. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.